Some things exist and some don't. What's the difference? If something exists, it has to have something called existence. So by far the simplest and most explanatory solution is that all things that exist are forms of something called existence. In this view, existence is the single fundamental substance, and all the individual things that exist are different forms of this single fundamental substance. So all that exists is existence and the forms of existence that exist within it. Thus everything that exists does so because it's a form of existence itself. Now, because individual forms of existence can be distinguished from one another, they contain information. Thus everything that exists is an information form. So existence is the originally formless fundamental substance of being, and all the individual things that exist are forms of existence that exist within it and are just the information of what they are. So existence is the universal medium in which information forms are expressed. This is an enormously simple and powerful model of reality that easily accounts for the entire observable universe. By analogy, think of a boundless, formless ocean of water. Within it, myriads of individual waves, ripples, and currents exist. All these are forms of water that exist within the ocean of water. And the different forms water can take are determined by the nature of water. Likewise, the ocean of existence was originally formless until the data forms of the elementary particles and their particle components arose within it at the Big Bang. And the forms of particles that can exist within existence are determined by the nature of existence, which we call the complete fine-tuning. Now, as particles arose, they began to interact, and the interaction of particles forms relationships among them. And these relationships among particles in aggregate are all the emergent information structures of the universe, including ourselves. So the universal sea of existence is the source of all the particles that exist, and science calls this the quantum vacuum, and the complete fine-tuning is the virtual nature of the quantum vacuum. So the quantum vacuum is the sea of existence within which the observable universe is born and in which it exists. Its virtual data is the complete fine-tuning, and its observable data is all the elementary particles of the observable universe. So all that exists is the quantum vacuum of existence, the virtual data of the complete fine-tuning that encodes its nature, and the data of all the elementary particles and particle components that exist within it. So all the individual things that exist are data forms that exist within the universal sea of existence of the quantum vacuum, and all data forms are empty of anything other than existence itself. This is the full nature of the entire universe in a nutshell. Now, the quantum vacuum of existence also has 6 fundamental attributes that account for the fundamental aspects of reality. These are self-necessitation, presence, happening, logicality, absoluteness, and immanence. The first intrinsic attribute of existence is self-necessitation. Existence exists is the fundamental self-necessitating circular axiom of reality upon which the entire logical structure of the universe rests. It's the bottom turtle in the stack of turtles. Non-existence cannot exist, so existence must exist and has always existed. The first philosophical question of existence has always been, why is there something rather than nothing? And how did something arise from nothing? The answer is simply that non-existence cannot exist. Therefore, there never was a nothingness out of which something arose. Why should there be? It's nonsense to think there had to originally be a nothingness from which everything arose. Therefore, there's no need for a creator or a creation event. We simply must accept that existence has always existed. So the Big Bang was an actualization event from the pre-existing quantum vacuum of existence that has always existed. The Big Bang was an actualization of all the data forms of the elementary particles within an originally formless quantum vacuum. Thus the quantum vacuum of existence is all that exists and all that has ever existed or will ever exist. There is no beyond, before, or after existence. Beyond existence, there is not even nothingness. There is no beyond. The second intrinsic attribute of existence is presence. Since existence exists, it must have presence and be present. The presence of existence manifests as the universal present moment in which the entire universe exists. Thus the presence of existence manifests as a universal present moment in which the entire universe and everything in it exists. The third intrinsic attribute is happening. For existence to observably exist, it must continually happen. Happening is the universal processor that drives the computations of all the particle interactions in the universe and is the ultimate source of time, change, and process. Happening continually computes the evolution of the universe according to the rules of the complete fine-tuning. Happening brings the universe to life. Because the universe continually evolves from within, with no external source or cause, the universe can be considered a living computational organism. The fourth intrinsic attribute of existence is logicality. For a computational universe to exist, it must be logically consistent and logically complete. If it wasn't, it would tear itself apart at the inconsistencies and come to a halt at the incompletenesses and cease to exist. Logicality means that every information state in the universe is logically consistent with every other information state, and all the rules by which any data state is computed are consistent. Only logicality ensures the continued existence of the universe as it's computed. This means the complete fine-tuning must also be consistent, which limits the number of possible complete fine-tunings. As we've seen in previous deep reality talks, a single elemental program computes the entire observable universe in terms of its individual particle interactions. So this elemental program and its logical operations, data types, and constants that make up the complete fine-tuning must all be internally consistent and based on the fundamental axiom that existence exists. Why what exists is the second fundamental question of reality. The answer is, what exists is determined by the complete fine-tuning, and there is only one possible complete fine-tuning because the existence of the actual universe as it actually is completely falsifies all other possibilities. The third and final fundamental question of reality is what does actually exist. Deep reality explains the fundamentals, and science is the continuing quest to fill in all the details. The fifth intrinsic attribute of existence is absoluteness. For something to exist, it must be exactly what it is and nothing else. Thus everything that exists is exactly what it is and nothing else. Absoluteness is the source of identity that differentiates all the individual forms of existence that exist. Absoluteness is the source of the individual identities of all the distinct information forms of the universe that enables them to be distinguished from each other. It's what makes different things different. Absoluteness is what makes the universe exactly what it is and not anything else. It makes the universe and all its information forms meaningful. Absoluteness is what makes all things the things they are the complete information of and nothing else. It's what makes the complete information of a mouse, the information of a video of a video of a mouse, and the information of a description of a description of a mouse. All these are different information forms, and each is the information of what it is, and each of these things is only the complete information of what it is, and that's all it is. So the kind of existence a form has depends on what that form is the information of. The sixth and last intrinsic attribute of existence is immanence. Immanence is the self-manifesting, observable presence of things. It's the self-manifesting presence of existence in all the forms of existence. Immanence is what makes the information things are real, actual things in the world. It's the there-ness that makes them real, observable things. The immanence of their existence is the manifestation of their real, actual being and presence in reality. Only because all things internally shine with the immanence of their existence are they actually real, present, and observable in the universe. Without the self-manifesting immanence of its existence, nothing would actually appear in reality and there would be no observable universe. So everything that exists shines with the immanence of its existence, which is the manifestation of its observable realness and actual presence in reality. The observability of all things in the universe is their immanence, and the observable presence of the entire observable universe is the immanence of the universe. So when we experience something, what we are experiencing is the immanence of its existence. Without the existence of things self-manifesting as their immanence, nothing would be actually observable. The universe would be a featureless blank. So all things are the complete information of what they are and the immanence of that information, and that's all anything is. The observable presence of everything that exists is the immanence of the information of what it is. Only because forms shine with the immanence of their existence are forms observable by other forms. All the profound beauty and meaning of the universe exists because once particle data forms arise, they begin to interact, and their interactions create relationships among particles, and the immanence of these relationships manifests as all the emergent programs and things of the observable universe, including ourselves and all the objects around us. We experience ourselves in the immanence of our own existence. In our universe, emergent forms are incredibly rich and filled with information about each other due to the wonderfully exquisite, precise design of the complete fine-tuning and the immanence of their existence. Now, the computational interactions of forms are effectively mutual generic observations in which each form experiences the other form in the alterations the interaction makes to its own form. In this way, all forms experience the information of the other forms they interact with in the immanence of their own information. And the universe can be thought of as consisting entirely of the experiences of immanence of its data forms. In this sense, the universe continually experiences itself into existence through the mutual generic observations of all its information forms. Thus, every form the universe creates is a means by which the universe experiences itself and the immanence of its existence. And we are organs the universe creates that allows it to consciously experience itself and ideally to improve itself as well. So experience is the flip side of immanence in the continual interaction of forms that evolve the observable universe. Now, the perennial problem of how consciousness can arise in a physical universe is insoluble, because consciousness isn't physical and just can't arise in a purely physical universe. But when we understand the immanence of existence in a computational universe, the true nature of consciousness becomes simple and clear. Consciousness is simply the immanence of experience. It's the immanence of the focus of attention routine as it scans our simulation of reality. Our simulation is a dynamic information model of ourself within our environment that's continually being updated to reflect what's happening. Our focus of attention is a specialized routine that watches processes being computed in our simulation. By watching something being computed, it experiences it happening. So the focus of attention routine generates experiences of processes occurring in our simulation. And the immanence of these experiences is what we call our consciousness of them. All forms manifest the immanence of their particular existence. The immanence of any form is the actual observable reality of what it's the information of. So the actual observable reality of the information of an experience is the consciousness of that experience. So conscious experience is simply the immanence of experiences. Consciousness is the immanence shining within the data of experiences. The internal shining of immanence isn't something visible to the eyes, but it is visible to the mind as consciousness. Consciousness is simply the immanence of experiences. It's the actual, observable, self-manifesting presence of experiences taking place in the focus of attention routine as it watches and experiences processes occurring in our simulation. So the mystery of consciousness becomes simple and clear when we understand how immanence works. Our simulation computes multitudes of simultaneous processes at the unconscious level, but the focus of attention routine brings specific threads of the stimulation to conscious attention because it creates the information there being experienced. It does this as it experiences unconscious processes occurring in the simulation. This generates the information that an unconscious process is being experienced, and the immanence of that experience manifests as the consciousness of that experience. The focus of attention routine is also able to experience formless immanence, devoid of individual experiences. The consciousness of formless immanence is the key to realization, as we'll see in the next Deep Reality talk. With this talk, we've now covered all the fundamental insights of the Deep Reality theory of everything. All that exists is the universal sea of existence, and the forms of existence that exist within it. This is what science calls the quantum vacuum, and all the observable forms of existence that exist within it are the observable universe. All the forms of existence are forms of information, and that's all they are. The elemental data forms are the data of elementary particles and their particle components. Once actualized, all the data forms begin to interact, and this forms relationships among them. These relationships in aggregate are all the information forms of the universe, including ourselves. The intrinsic attributes of the quantum vacuum of existence are the fundamental aspects of reality. They make the observable universe real and actual and present, and drive the continual happening that results in the passage of time and the evolution of the observable universe. The immanence of existence of data forms is their self-manifestation as the real, actual things of the universe they're the information of. Without the immanence of their existence, they wouldn't be present in the universe as actual observable things. And in particular, the immanence of existence of the information that experiences are taking place in our simulations of reality is what we call the consciousness of those experiences. This is the entire Deep Reality theory in a nutshell, and all the essential details of how the theory explains relativity, quantum theory, cosmology, time, emergence, ourselves, and our simulations of reality have been covered in previous Deep Reality talks, and much more can be found in my books on universal reality. This concludes the Deep Reality talk on existence, immanence, and consciousness. We're now ready to examine the personal implications of Deep Reality in the final talk on realization. It explains how we can directly experience the true nature of the reality we've discovered, including the true nature of our own being. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to stay informed.